Hi, everyone. I'm very honored to be here as one of the debaters, and I'm on the Con Standpoint team. And with my work, I serve MSM, transgender women, and other key populations on a daily basis, with our community-based organization. So I do hope that my views could translate into something substantial for this debate. Starting off, I would like to state that I argue against having long-acting Cabotegravir, which I will call it short for long-acting injectable agents in this conversation as the first option for PrEP if it ever becomes available in public health setting. And the reason why that I'm arguing against it is the fact that I actually think that it could reduce PrEP accessibility and uptake. And one of the main reasons that I would like to use to support this is the fact that if the method does become available, the convenience to PrEP accessibility and uptake at a community level could be greatly compromised. And this is shown in the fact that, this method could only be administered by health professional only, perhaps those who are competent in performing intramuscular injection, which will require our KP clients to go to clinics only. And historically, we have seen the benefit of having CBOs, disseminating oral PrEP, and now these CBOs will not be able to provide this method of PrEP, and they will lose a lot of clients, and now they could only provide referrals. So all in all, this method could disrupt the community-based ecology when it comes to HIV and AIDS prevention that we have succeeded with. So that's the reason why that this transition into a more clinically based approach to prevention, I think would actually result in a decrease in PrEP accessibility and uptake. The second reason why that I think it would result in such a phenomenon is the fact that it would have poor affordability in the very beginning stage as well as the long run. In the very beginning, probably you would know, for any drug that would come into that would enter the market, it would be owned by this exclusive, pharmaceutical company, which will result in a very high, entry price. And it'll probably take a lot of time for other generic manufacturers to enter the market and make the price for this method more accessible. Secondly, in the long run, there will be a lot of challenges for even the government and other international donors to make this method accessible. Evidently, very few Asian countries actually provide PrEP coverage in public health settings. And even if they do, it's very restricted in certain clinics and centers affiliated with the government, and a lot of this have not met the demands of KPs. And secondly, with the increasingly halting international funding that we have, it's very rare that that small amount of funding is going to be able to sort of support this colossal cascade of providing more resources and probably more logistics to low to middle income Asian countries to have more clinical resources to adopt this clinically based approach to PrEP. So and then not to even mention the fact that historically, different KP populations are affected by, access to PrEP at a different rate. So as you could, when we look at literature, we could see that MSM, they're historically more privileged in terms of, socioeconomic conditions. And transgender women, people who inject drugs, and sex workers, they are more likely than MSM to end up in homelessness and poverty. And if we're considering young key populations, they're less likely to endorse more cost-expensive PrEP methods. So that's the reason why that if we ever adopt and make, long-acting injectable agents the first option when it comes to PrEP, a lot of these, more vulnerable key populations will be affected and probably more vulnerable to HIV and AIDS. So that's the reason why that I'm arguing against having this method as the first option when it comes to PrEP, if it ever becomes available in public health setting. Thank you for listening.